Hi.
Welcome, Sarah. How are you?
Okay, how are you doing? Good to see you and talk to you.
Good to see you too.
Yeah.
Yes, this is exciting.
I wish I did not have like time to prep for this, so I hope we can kind of walk through it together.
Oh, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. All I'm doing is supporting this committee's work. I'm very happy to do it, and
It's
I
nice to actually meet you, by the way. I've heard of you through like I think we have a ton of mutual humans in our world, so it's nice to actually collaborate with you and get to know you
I'm
a little bit.
I'm sharing a wall with Brian King. He's
Oh, of
literally
course.
like right there.
Brian is one of my all-time favorite humans in the world.
He's a wonderful person.
I know. He's the best. And can I ask, is being a city councilor your day job? I don't actually know the answer. Okay, city council is an entirely separate entity, which is limited. And then what is your day job?
Hi, Nikki. I have
Hi.
I have two other day jobs. I'm the data manager at the North Shore Health Project,
Okay.
which is what I do very, very part-time, but it is my absolute joy. And then I also am a registered nurse at the Northeast ARC
Oh, wow.
adult foster care program.
Amazing. Okay. I didn't know that. I should have probably known that, but that's amazing to hear. Wow. So you are
Thank you.
busy.
Yeah. I'm also a mom and a wife.
I understand. I'm a wife and a fairly recent stepmom, so that's a whole new endeavor for me.
How exciting.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Lucky
It
kid.
It is
How
wonderful. He's 14 now. I met him at 11 and we got married a year and a half ago. And he's
Oh,
a stellar kid, actually. He's a miraculously good 14-year-old.
congratulations. That's wonderful. Does he go to the high school?
So it's a long story, but we divide time between Arlington and Gloucester. So he's at
Wow.
school in Arlington because he spends half his time with his mom and
His
her
mom.
partner. Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. It's a busy life, but it's good.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Oh
And
my
how about
goodness.
your kids?
We have a 10-year-old.
Okay.
So she's fully remote
She's
right now.
remote. My stepson's remote too. How's she dealing with it?
She's okay. She misses her friends, but
Yeah.
she's not in the her mindset is not yet in the rebellious teenage phase. So she we're friends to her, so it's really nice.
That's
Like
awesome.
she's very introverted too. She likes to spend time at home. But I'm really just thankful for Facebook Messenger for kids and Roblox and all these weird apps that I had no idea even existed. They're helping her stay connected with her friends, and she's also doing Girl Scouts,
Oh,
socially distanced, and also in karate. So
oh, amazing.
it's nice.
Good. That's good. That's good to keep her connected. And yeah, at the onset of this, I know a lot of parents were worried about things like video games and everything, but it's been a saving grace for my stepson. I mean, it keeps him fully connected to literally his entire friend community all the
Yep.
time. And they're talking. I hear them. So I feel like we kind of gave up on monitoring it because I just felt like he seems happy. He's connected to them. That's where they all are right now. I mean, on occasion they go out, but it is what it is.
Cool. All right. Well, it's 3 o'clock.
Sorry. Yeah.
So I'm gonna, no, that's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna start broadcasting now. Okay. All right. And we are live. I don't know if anybody is an attendee as of yet. Oh, yes, I see an attendee. Oh, I think, let's see, that's action. That might be Jen Beloff. I'm gonna promote to panelist just in case. Let's see.
It's me.
Hi, Jen.
Hey,
Yay. All right.
I'll turn my camera on in a minute. Hold on, I got to figure out how to do it.
Okay. All right. So I'll for today, for this meeting, I'll start by opening up the meeting. Okay. So welcome to the Gloucester Human Rights Commission Identification and Prioritization Process Subcommittee. This meeting is recorded by video and audio in accordance with state open meeting law, consistent with the governor's orders suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and banning gatherings of more than 10 people. This meeting will be conducted by remote participation. The public may not physically attend this meeting, but every effort will be made to all the public to view and listen to the meeting in real time. Additionally, all votes taken by this subcommittee during this and future remote meetings will be by roll call vote. If you are calling in on a phone, you can press *9 to request to speak. If you are watching on a computer or device, there is a raise hand button that you can tap or press to request to speak. Please use either of these options to request to speak. Members of the public who speak at the meeting must provide their name and address in order to speak on any matter that comes forward on the agenda. All members of the subcommittee should turn on their video if possible when voting so their faces can be seen. If voting by video, members should turn their video on when they vote. If voting by phone, members must first identify themselves. Voting is allowed only by video or verbally by phone. So I would like to introduce all the members of the subcommittee present. We have Sarah Peck, Nikki Rashawn Scholl, and Jen Beloff. And welcome, everybody.
Hi, Jen.
I'm so glad to see all of you. This is so exciting. I guess I don't want to run all of these subcommittee meetings. I think it would be very important. I want to let you all take the reins. And I apologize, but I'm not sure if, I think that probably the mechanics of a subcommittee such as this are that it would be important to elect a chair, a vice chair, and possibly a secretary, just to, I don't know, establish some sort of parameters. Does that make sense? I don't know how you all feel about that.
Is that how subcommittees usually operate?
It is
For the
how
city?
they operate at the council level, although we have, there's a clerk who takes the minutes.
Yep.
But I mean, I think it would be a good idea. I didn't even think about that when we were talking about what to put on the agenda.
I'm happy to step in whatever role. I don't know exactly what a chair does. I think I start and end the meeting in theory, but I'm happy to do so.
The chair would.
Yeah, I can do whatever too.
I can
you
do
know?
vice chair or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, the chair would work in collaboration with the rest of the subcommittee members, I think, to set the agenda. And yes, to do the roll call for votes, and to begin and end the meeting.
Okay, happy to do so. If that works for everybody.
Fine with me.
Okay.
Fine.
And I suppose I'm officially commencing the meeting.
All right, so Sarah Peck, chair. Okay, Nikki, vice chair, if that's all right with everyone.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And Jen, I'm taking notes. They'll be messy unless you want to take notes.
No, I mean, I can take them.
Okay.
I
all right.
don't, the only question is there a particular, these notes get posted?
They will, yes. They're
So is
minutes.
there a particular format?
Usually, the really basic format is motions and votes. Like motions and votes, that's really it. If there's a deep discussion, I mean, they kind of run the gamut, but legally, city committees are required to document motions and votes.
Okay.
And then you guys would vote on them at the next meeting. And I apologize. I say you guys, I'm trying to get that out of my personal lexicon because it's not, it's a colloquialism that's like drilled in here from,
Right.
you know, my very youngest days. But anyway. So,
Okay.
let's see, but I can share this screen if you all want to take a look at the agenda.
So just going back to the notes for 1 second, when
Sure.
they get submitted, do you, the format, is it like on the city, like the subcommittee members, is there a top format that has to be consistently presented before the motions and votes?
I would say so. If you
Okay.
want to just take the agenda and like copy the heading on that,
Okay.
and then write in attendance.
Okay.
And
And who do the do the notes get sent to the city or do they have to wait until they get approved by the HRC regular committee first?
They need to be approved by the HRC regular committee
Okay.
before they're sent off. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are you sharing your screen?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I wasn't sure if
I'm happy to do so. I've got it.
Sorry. I didn't know what was going
do you
on.
want to
I
share
didn't
it?
either.
Sure.
I've got
I'm happy
my
to share.
paper copy right here.
Oh, apparently
Terry, do you have the ability to share?
it's disabled at the moment. I think you have to give me permission.
Let's see. Okay. Make co-host. Yes. Let's try that.
Ooh, that's very thrilling. Looks
Did
like
that
it
work?
Totally
It
works.
says it worked.
Okay, let's
I
see.
learn a lot about Zoom every single day. Wow. Okay.
There we go.
All
Are
right.
you? I'm assuming you're seeing this, the
Uh-huh.
agenda.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. So we've done the call to order.
Yep.
Now we're on to a discussion of the intake process for community members. And as you know, I did a little bit of research on this on like other intake forums from Cambridge and Boston and Arlington. And my proposal would be to not reinvent the wheel. Cambridge has a specific mandate and they have a specific intake form as a result. Arlington's mandate is a little bit broader. And I do think that, frankly, mimicking the Arlington intake form, both as a printable form that people could hand in or email, or like a PDF form that they could email, and also ideally as an online form that they could submit, would probably be ideal. And I could actually, are you currently seeing the Arlington Human
Yeah.
Rights Form?
Yes.
Great.
Yep.
So I
Yeah.
thought, based on what you guys think, we could walk through this and then, determine whether or not this would work for us, something quite like this. What do you think?
Wow. That's
you-
comprehensive.
Can you bring it, up? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So essentially they've got the name, and then you can kind of, in theory, identify the arena in which you've got a complaint. How do you believe your rights are violated? Obviously, not everybody I think would want to or be inclined to fill out all of this, and then, an area for description, the date, what they actually are looking for, what kind of help they're looking for, if it's being investigated somewhere else, and then a signature, and then they've got, they have a telephone number. I don't think we have that. We've got an email that they could email it to. We could probably get a specific address for the Gloucester Human Rights Commission. And then if this is simple, I mean, I could like mimic this or mock this up as a Google form as well. So people would have an alternative way to put together a submission. I mean, the alternative, Cambridge has, are you seeing my screen now for Cambridge?
Not yet.
Interesting.
I have a discrimination intake form for Cambridge. Is that the one that you have, Sarah?
Yeah, that's the one. So
Yeah.
it's not entirely dissimilar. It's just a description of the issue and then specifics about the person. Cambridge has a very specific series of steps that they take in order to respond at that point. I think that that's something that our commission would have to work out, but
Yeah.
what do you all think?
And is there more demographic information requested on the Cambridge form? The one that I have in hand, there's quite a bit of
They do
demographic.
have- yes, they do have racial, ethnic identity, gender identity.
Gender identity. Is that
Yeah.
on the Arlington form as well, or do we want it?
It asks their sexual orientation.
Oh, I see.
Some of the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
questions, yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
probably, gender
worded
identity or
differently.
expression. It's worded differently. So, we could come up with a proposal for the larger group and then
Yeah.
Can-
circulate it.
Can you bring it back down again, so where it says like, where it should, employment,
Sorry.
where, yeah, right here, yeah. So
Oh,
for clarity and thinking about what may be coming in, for instance, is this, if someone, if they felt their violation or whatnot happened at their place of employment, but the place of employment would be in Gloucester
Mhm.
by a Gloucester
Mm.
employer, not just a Gloucester resident,
that's a good question.
That is a good question. We
making
probably
a
wanna run
complaint
that by
about
legal.
his employer or her employee that lives and works in Danvers, let's say,
Right. That's a good question.
just to
Yeah. I'm gonna-
filter through,
By,
so we're not like, people making complaints about their employer in, Boston, let's say, if they're commuting every day into the city and there's an issue.
So I have a question. So for example, if you felt like there was some sort of discrimination and your rights were violated around gender identity, how would you answer that question under this heading? In what area do you believe your rights are violated? Other?
Hmm.
Yeah,
I think
so I want to go back to Cambridge and say, because
Yeah.
the Cambridge form only has 4 options because they have a specific mandate: housing, public accommodation,
Right.
employment, or education.
Oh,
Right.
so does that limit them in this way? So does that make Arlington a little more flexible?
Well, Arlington has a larger mandate. Cambridge responds to specific issues, although I think public accommodation, if I understand it correctly, is probably a broad sweeping
Yeah.
form. And so I think that Arlington seems broader, but it probably isn't. Yeah, public accommodation, places open to accepting the patronage of general public. So Cambridge has that that kind of blanket.
Mhm.
So it does seem to me that, with a few tweaks, we could recreate this form, make it inclusive and adapt it for our needs if it doesn't feel too onerous to people.
No, it's actually a lot less onerous to me than the Cambridge one.
I think so
Seems pretty
too.
good. Yeah.
Now, just looking at it when in the public section accommodations right there, in the response, like I'll just use myself as, because I can see this happening. We get a lot of shelter guests who do make complaints or say their rights were violated, and we have our own internal processes that are to respond, and plus we have our own mandate for state response, where we have to, get our funders through the state and follow their guidelines too. So is this just like an after like your internal processes and happen, or do they do these things? Could someone do these same things at the same time?
Well, it does have an area saying, are other people investigating? And I think that part of our process that we have to figure out with the larger Human Rights Commission is, what do we do when if we get an intake form or a
Right.
complaint, how do we actually address it? Is it really within our field of ability to respond?
Yeah.
Right.
And how to direct it? And
Yeah. So that's my question. Like,
Right.
What is that?
what is that mechanism?
What are the parameters?
Right. That's an excellent question. I'm pretty sure that's the next step on our agenda, which is steps for, maybe this agenda is more specific about steps for implementing the form and not necessarily steps for implementing the response. And I do think, Jen, you can advise me, but I'm not sure what that means for us.
I think this is something to discuss with the larger group as well as legal.
Yeah.
Legals. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that we could propose the form, but then we have to talk about with the legal team and the larger group, what is the
agree.
response process based on the intake, based on the area. And that's,
I think we should start with the form, because from the form, we'll be able to generate some questions. Like if we were to, like a mock thing, like if we were to get one of these with these things filled out, then we could walk through what our parameters are in response. And would that come from, would Chip provide that guidance, or like if we had,
Attorney Basu, Krishna
Okay.
Basu. Yep. So we can put this on the agenda, and I can ask Krishna to, to make every effort to be there.
okay,
I'm sure she would, she wants to make sure that that we're doing this carefully and appropriately. So, unless something happens, I'm sure.
is there anything on this form about confidentiality?
Yes, it looks like
Actually-
the written
Yeah, it's-
correspondence is public,
Right.
which it would be in our case too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm wondering.
And let me
Who-
look at the Cambridge discrimination form and see how it works for them. If they have a disclaimer, they don't actually have that same.
Because that can be a hurdle or a barrier for people.
Yeah, for sure.
100% agree with that statement. And maybe that's why they have an embedded intake form, although I don't think an embedded intake form is, I mean, that does not make it accessible. I think giving people the option to have a written form or to submit it, and maybe that's something that we need to follow up with legal too. If
Mhm.
like all submissions in theory, I mean, I think should be private.
Confidential. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So I'm gonna actually make a couple markups on this. I wonder if I can do that while I'm talking to you. Oh, I can. So,
For the record, it would take me days just to be able to do what steps you just did.
This really is amazing to watch.
It is.
Thank you.
all right, and then we could talk about inclusive, i.e. Cambridge form. Okay, let's see, and then we could update this information. Okay. Good, and then the big question for the group is legal steps. So the way I understand it from Cambridge is their process, and I've got this written down, the Human Rights Commission will determine if the complaint falls within its jurisdiction. Next, the commission's attorney investigator will meet with you, the complainant, to assist in drafting the complaint. The commission will then serve a copy of the complaint to the respondent so they have an opportunity to respond. The Human Rights Commission does not represent either party during this investigation. It's a neutral party.
Wow. So legal is involved from stem to stern.
Yeah,
I don't know if we,
Yeah.
okay. I'll see what,
that's in Cambridge. It doesn't actually say for Arlington what the process is once it gets submitted. So I could follow up with them and write them and ask them what their next step is.
could you please? Yes, thank you. That would be great. Okay. Wow.
Once the form is submitted. Where does it go? Who determines next step? Is legal involved? A lot to learn here.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause I feel like this, without guidance from legal, could get very risky
Yeah, I agree.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
in
So,
protecting the people, ourselves and the people coming forward to seek advice,
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
right.
I can see something that starts out as a good intention could quickly go sideways without some real clear guidance.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm just taking some notes.
But I like the form in general.
I do
I
too.
think it's
Yeah.
user friendly.
Pretty clean looking,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
It's clean and I like I mean, I think that people should have the option to either fill it out electronically and email it,
Yeah.
print it and hand it to somebody, or
Mhm.
honestly submit it electronically if they want, like through an intake form. So I'm not, in terms of the next steps, it sounds like our next meeting, is it the 25th?
Yes.
Mhm.
I mean, I could create a Gloucester version of this, and then submit a series of these like next step questions. And then I'm not sure how this works with the rest of the commission, but I guess I would send it to like the general email, and then that could be circulated to the group for an approval or for discussion at the upcoming meeting.
Yeah, same thing with like, because in the notes, just because it's the first one and there aren't necessarily any motions or votes, but the next steps, I was just gonna bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that, do those just get sent to the general email, or do I,
The notes, the minutes.
yeah, to attach for the agenda for the next
Yes.
meeting?
And just mark that they are a draft. Oh,
Yep.
and one thing I forgot to mention is try to like make note of when the meeting began and ended. So I hope I started the meeting at 3. Like I
think so, yeah.
think.
Yeah.
And then whatever, like note what time it ended.
Okay.
And if someone else comes to speak, or if there's a presenter or anything like
Yep.
that, make a note of what time. But just make sure it's clearly marked draft.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So the 25th, and then for this subcommittee, after we meet with the full group, what do you all think about March 11th? That's 4 weeks from today.
I don't have yeah, sure. I'm sure I can make it work.
Should be fine.
Okay. All right.
March 11th?
All right.
Is
Is
that
this
a Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
Is
3
this the kind of thing where I should be creating a proposal for our small subcommittee, or should?
Yeah. Yes. I think so. I'm sorry.
Wait,
Yeah.
what do you mean? I'm confused.
Like an agenda?
No,
Oh.
I mean, like if I'm like trying to kind of redevelop this form just for our purposes, should I run it by this
Oh.
subcommittee first and then go to the
Oh.
larger committee? I don't want to drag it out extensively.
I misunderstood. Okay.
I mean, for this, I don't necessarily think it warrants another,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't either.
Good.
if you're just tweaking it, to represent Gloucester, I
Yeah,
think that's, can go right to the big
I
group.
agree.
And I'll tweak it too to ensure that it's reflecting like the Gloucester Human Rights Commission mandate. Make sure that, in fact, I could even include it up top. So I can make those tweaks. And then in terms of my next steps, it would be create a draft of this, send it to the general email for review at the February 25th meeting with a larger group. We'd want to involve the legal counsel in the process, and I will also try by that point, hopefully, to get some input from like the Arlington committee on what their next steps are, who they get involved at that point of a submission.
Yeah, and
And
I'll
so
send the
who-
notes. I'll send the
sets
notes
the ag-
along too. So
Sorry.
when they send out the agenda, they'll have the draft notes and the draft complaint form.
And who sets that agenda?
Hannah.
Hannah.
For the big
Hannah will
group.
set the agenda, and
Yeah.
she'll just put this on the agenda. Okay.
And should probably need it. I think we said in theory like a week before.
When does it get, how many days does it take to be posted prior to the meeting?
At least 48 hours. in
Right.
advance, business hours.
So that would be Thursday. For us, it would be Thursday would have to be posted
Yes.
if we meet on Mondays.
Yes.
So submitted no later than Wednesday night to the city.
Yeah. And ideally Tuesday,
Okay.
just in case.
Right. Okay. That's fine. Just looking at my calendar. Yeah. Totally doable.
I can do the 11th as well.
The 11th. Oh, we're talking about March. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I thought that's what you were responding to, that you,
Sorry.
No, I'm here, but I'm
I'm just learning as we go.
I know it's a little, yeah, I think we all are.
Yeah.
Maybe could I ask, like, if I reach out to the Arlington Human Rights Commission, could I ask for another subcommittee member here to reach out to another Human Rights Commission to just check their internal processes and report back?
I'll do that.
That would be amazing. That way we'd get a
Which-
broader sense of what this looks like, you know, in reality.
So I already have looked at the Cambridge one, and now I see the Arlington one. So any suggestions on where I was sort of looking a little bit briefly last night at the LA Human Rights Commission
I mean-
intake form. So
Oh,
that would be kind of interesting to review.
They're
would be
extraordinarily robust.
Yeah.
So
I'll
yeah,
look at that.
okay, that'd be
Wow.
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, that's exciting. LA, wow.
Okay.
Okay. I've put everything out there. I needed
You
to.
don't have to, this question goes back to learning as we go. People are identified as chair and co-chair in the subcommittee meetings. That doesn't require a vote, does it?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I have no idea.
It probably should be voted. It probably should be, but I'm trying to think. No. Well, sorry. Yeah, it should be because Hannah was elected, and Paul was elected as well. So there should be a nomination, a second, and then a roll call vote. So vote by name.
Okay, so if I make a nomination for Sarah to be the chair of the subcommittee of the Human Rights
Mhm.
Commission,
And I second.
hold on. Okay, so the next step is the roll call vote?
Yes. So, so someone would acknowledge there's been a nomination and a second, and then they would start the roll call vote. So they would,
Okay,
members.
so if that, the motion has been seconded, now we can do a roll call vote, and
Yep.
then I
And
would
then
just
you
say,
call on someone. You would call on someone, and then you would call on another person, and then
do you have to say their full name, or can I just say Sarah?
you should say their full name.
Sarah Peck?
Yes, thank you.
Hold on, I'm writing notes.
Very efficient.
Nicole, Rashawn, Joelle,
Yes.
Jen Beloff, yes. And does Jen Holgram get a vote?
I am not a voting member. Nope, I am ex officio. But that was awesome. And this would totally not be like this if it wasn't for Zoom. It would just be a vote by voice. Yes or no.
So is there a closing of that once the final person says,
Well, you can say, okay, Sarah Peck is voted chair of this subcommittee by a unanimous vote of 3 in favor, 0 opposed.
all right, Sarah Peck has been voted the chair of the Human Rights Subcommission by a vote of 0 opposed, 3, 4.
I have all the
Excellent.
power.
Yeah, and then you did the same thing with Nikki. And the same
Oh,
thing with Jen.
You have to go through the whole thing.
So co-chair or vice chair or
Vice
whichever
chair.
title, and then clerk or
Oh,
secretary.
but we haven't even made a motion for that, so I would need to
Nope.
I'd like to make a motion to have Nicole Rochantral be the vice chair of the Human Rights.
I will
Subcommittee.
happily second that.
So many steps here, folks.
I know, right?
So now we have to vote, right?
Yep.
Okay, so yes.
Wait a minute.
You vote for
Jen
yourself?
Mangoshin. Sarah said yes. Okay, now the roll call vote. Sorry. I'll get the swing of it where it'll be set.
Okay, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay. So roll call vote for Nikki to be the vice chair. Sarah Peck,
Yes.
Nicole
I-
Rashawn,
Yes.
Jen Bealoff, yes. Ooh,
So then we make another motion for
Oh.
Jen.
Mhm.
So I can just make the motion that Jen be the clerk of the subcommittee of the Human Rights Commission.
I will second that.
And I think we do a roll call now,
Yes.
a vote. Yes. Okay, Sarah Peck,
Yes.
Jen Bealoff,
yes.
Nikki Rashawn Show, yes.
Well done, everybody. Woo! That's so exciting.
I don't know how you guys do it at city council.
It's taken
my God.
a lot of it's been just a huge learning curve, and we're actually updating our rules of procedure even now,
Oh, wow.
because sometimes Zoom cuts out for people. So what's our contingency plan? It wasn't really carved in stone yet. So yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate your insight on this. on this
I can't wait
process.
until we can all meet in person again. I mean, Zoom's been terrific. I hope that we can keep some version of Zoom, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I do think that was the majority of our agenda. Are there any other items up for discussion or any other feedback or questions or things that we need to flesh out a bit more?
I have two quick questions. One is, once I get some information from the LA Human Rights Commission, what do I do with that information? Like, where do I bring it to the subcommittee? Do I bring it to the larger commission meeting?
My gut instinct is that if I could come up with like a draft of this and then I can get feedback from Arlington about what their process is after they get a submission, and you can
Yeah.
get feedback from LA about what their process is after they get a submission, then we
Mhm.
could have a bullet point in the next agenda for February 25th, where you and I both we go through the form and then we report back on what the processes look like in these two other places. And then
Okay,
just
that sounds good.
what ours would be, and ideally with legal counsel there, right?
Right, right.
So I think it's
Okay, that
adding
sounds
an
good.
agenda item. Yeah.
Okay, and here's the dumb question of the day. Where is that little wavy hand? Everybody always says, just click on your little wave. Where is it?
it's not a
might-
dumb question.
You might not see it right now because we're on a shared screen
But where is it normally?
Oh,
on the
right.
And you're
bottom.
not, it is? Okay.
Well, I guess it depends on how you're having it set up. Usually it's on the bottom, but it can be over to the
can-
right.
Okay. And is it a symbol of a hand? What is it?
It's a
What does it look
yellow
like?
hand.
It is?
Yeah, it
Okay.
looks like just a yellow,
Okay.
almost like the yellow that's on the Arlington thing.
Okay. All right, I'll look for it. I've looked for it a bunch. I never seem to find it. So I have to wave like this. But okay, thanks.
So does that mean, does the chair make the motion to adjourn?
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure there was nothing else.
Yeah, I guess yes, the chair does, just to make it neat and tidy.
I would make a motion to adjourn if everybody feels like we've gone through these steps and have like the next right steps in place. Is there anything we're missing?
No, I second.
A great, efficient meeting.
I so
Yay.
appreciate you all. Thank you so much. This is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Thank you.
Great.
And I'll loop back to the central email, Hannah, with some feedbacks and input for the upcoming larger meeting on the 25th.
Oh, and
Sounds
then I'm
good.
sorry, there's been a motion and there needs to be, was there a second to adjourn and then?
Yes, Jen.
Yeah, there's a second.
Okay,
And now we'll go through the roll call. I'm sorry.
apology. Okay, sorry. Nope.
Jen,
Yes.
Nikki,
Yes.
and I say yes. So it's lovely to see all of you.
Nice to see you. Enjoy the
Nice to see you
sunshine.
guys. Thank
Yep,
you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.